Joining me now is Iasha Hall, a Democrat running for the special election for Providence City Council Ward 15. Iasha, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you, Steph, for inviting me. I truly appreciate the honor.
Of course. So tell me, why are you running for Providence City Council?
Well, actually, just a little bit of me. I'm running because I invested a lot in this community. I feel that I'm the best candidate because I'm hands-on, feet to the ground. I brought initiatives, cooking for the community. I've been a resident leadership with Oneyville, prior Oneyville neighborhood, but now it's called One Neighborhood Builders. And I just believe that I'm coming from a background of the holistic person. I believe everything, strong families. I believe employment for everybody, clean streets, safer streets, crime. I'm here in the trenches. I'm here in the high end of Oneyville and Silver Lake. And I just believe what I bring is a passion. I bring my drive, my motivation. I come from a family of leaders. My grandmother fought for desegregation under Taylor School versus New Rochelle Board of Education, and they fought in 1961. So I was born into community. I was born into public service to help people. I was 13 doing our first tutorial program in the projects, coming from free lunch bags. So I always had a passion for helping people. And when I moved to Rhode Island, it was only for me to come and be a help. So I believe Ward 15 is where I planted myself. My home is here, and I just want to give back to a community that needs somebody like me.
Your constituents have a pretty wide field to choose from in the primary, 5 candidates, at least that I know of as of this taping. So why are you the best? What makes you unique out of those 5 that they should pick you?
Why am I unique? Because first of all, I'm Iasha. That's number one. I'm the go-getter. I'm a mover and a shaker. I believe in humanity. I have no ulterior motives. It's not about an elevation in position. It's about an elevation in humanity. I believe in people. And I believe that my work that I had already done, like I said, I put the foot in the pavement. I go to doors already speaking to people. This is nothing new for election. This is what I do on a daily basis. I know people's personal issues on a daily basis. It doesn't take an election to get me out. So I believe I'm the best candidate because I can personally say that I've been through it. So I know it. It's personal to me. I'm the best person because I know what it is not to have food, to go to pantries. I know what it is to be on welfare. I know what it has, domestic violence. I know what it is to have a child that's going through and fighting with the police. So I have experienced a lot. I overcame a lot, and I'm willing to give back what helped me get to where I'm at now. That's why I feel I'm the best candidate.
What do you think is the biggest issue facing Ward 15? And I'm going to ask you the same question about the city as a whole, but first, Ward 15.
First and foremost, I think right now our biggest issue between COVID and safer streets, crime.
And how would you propose to solve those issues?
Well, as far as, I'll start with the crime first. I believe that we get our police back on the block like they was, because we had Kappa a few years ago. And I believe it was really very instrumental, very pivotal for Oneyville and Silver Lake. When our cops were seen, they were visible. They were able to relate to the community. To me, if we bring that back, the community policing, it'll build a relationship, it'll build trust. Once we have trust, then we can start bringing initiatives and programs, because we first have to bring the trust back into the neighborhood because we lost a lot of trust in leadership.
And what do you think is the biggest issue facing Providence as a whole? Because if you're a city council, you'll have to make decisions for the whole city.
I think first and foremost, we had to first work on this tax thing. I think we should work on some of the taxes. I also believe crime also. I'm not too happy with what entering to the city with the panhandlers and how our city looks. As a whole, I feel we divided. And that one Providence to me is not a one Providence, because we've been divided for a long time. The biggest thing I think we facing beside the pension is us not coming together as a city, as wards. It's too many divisions on the city council. We need to come together as a collaborative government, local municipalities, the mayor also. I believe he dropped the ball on us. This is a time where we need everybody. It's not just one person. We need everyone in the city, in the state, in order for us to do the work.
You mentioned at the beginning there something about taxes. What did you mean? The taxes are too high?
Taxes, yeah, the taxes on the houses are too high. The ground lease is totally unacceptable. I don't think they're looking at everybody in a holistic view. I think they're basically looking at what's good for those that can eat at the table. But we're losing here. The homeowners tax, we lose out because first and foremost, we have to pay the highest taxes. You have, not only do you have the tax stabilization for businesses that shouldn't be having them, you don't tax the right people, you tax the least of them. And to me, it's not equity. That's not fair. So basically, yeah, basically it's not equity. So we need equity across the board, and it's not. Only certain people are eating from the table. Everybody's not.
You mentioned COVID, and I want to ask you a question about that because Olneyville, the 02909 zip code has been one of the hardest hit by the pandemic. But we haven't seen a high vaccination rate. In fact, data that we received earlier this week from the Department of Health shows that 36% of people in 02909 have received at least one shot of the vaccine, but statewide, half of the people have received a dose. So why do you think that vaccination rate is lower in your neighborhood, and what would you suggest to get that number up?
First and foremost, I think a lot of people in our neighborhood are not believing in the vaccination. Second of all, the ball been dropped, so people feel like they don't care anyway. Why do we have the highest rate? I distribute over 10,000 masks throughout COVID myself, thanks to One Neighborhood Builders, providing the mask and hand sanitizers. People are afraid to go out. People are not trusting. That's why I said we have to go back to trust. We have to build a trust in the community. People are not, they don't believe in the vaccination. And I'm not for it. I have my own personal reasons, health-wise, but I'm not going to tell nobody else not to do it. That's your personal choice. What we should be educating them more. They're not being educated. Everybody don't go on the news. Everybody's not looking at the news. Some things we do have to go back door to door. Some things we do have to go back face to face. And I know COVID stopped a lot of it, but a lot of our people are not on the internet. They're not social medias. We're not reaching our older people either. I fed older people and I passed out masks and everything to the elderly, to the vets and everything. Just giving them a little bit of information. Our city council has not been transparent basically with the COVID. Why was we so high? I even had a store shut down because we're a super spreader and the store's not even having people wear masks. I called our city council president, and what we do, I called the Department of Health to shut it down. I'm a resident out here every day trying to find resources and help. But when you looked at COVID and we had the highest rate, yes, we do question, how did this happen?
So are you encouraging your neighbors and your potential constituents to get vaccinated?
Yes, it's their choice. I'm not going to take my own personal issue and put it on anybody else. That's their choice. That's their choice. Yes, you go get vaccinated. And yes, I've been giving them information to go to this clinic. Even our council president, she'll send me things, but I'll send them out to the people. I'll talk to the people. It's all about, some things are just word of mouth. Some things you just got to go and speak to the people. And that's what we need.
I want to ask you about a major project that affects your neighborhood, the 610 connector construction that's been going on for years now and cuts right through Ward 15. How do you think the project is going? Do you have any concerns about it? Do you think it's going to improve the neighborhood?
No, because I feel it's all part of the gentrification. It's a hot mess. Olneyville already has a traffic problem. So to me, it's just really a disaster. But my thing is, who is it accessible to? Who is it going to be accessible for? The purpose, the motive. That's my thing. But the conjunction, no, is I think the timing And I also think the place and where they're doing is wrong. You have Hartford and coming out of Manton, you have Hartford and then you go on Plainfield. They both come into the same, they get both connected to the same intersection. What happens is you causing the same traffic from both ends to come in and hit the same way. Makes no sense. It really don't. If you really look at the pattern, it really makes no sense and how geographically they did it. And if you really look at it geographically, coming off of Westminster, if anything, you should have spread Westminster open more because it's already smaller. So why would you already do it? And even with the trucks, it's not even helping commercial trucks because they can't even come into Onivyville because they have to go and make the right first. So you also is limiting people, it's causing problems. People don't even respect traffic lights as it is. So to make that decision a few years ago for this to see it now, it really is like a disaster, especially in Onivyville. It's already congested.
Iasha, I want to ask you, do you support the expansion of charter schools in Providence?
I do because, and I'm gonna say this, Steph, is because I believe parents have they have the choice in where their kids educate. I don't believe that's no one else's choice but a parent. If a parent mentally or cannot make that decision, then there should be other options. But each parent has a right to make a choice in where they want their child to be educated.
The city of Providence has this big looming underfunded pension liability. As I'm sure you know, there's been a lot of proposals on how to solve this shortfall. Do you have any ideas for how the city can bolster that pension fund?
I'm gonna be honest with you. With all the finagling, I really, at this point, I can't say much on it because they done tampered so much and did so much. I reviewed a little bit of it, but to me, no, not to give you a clear-cut answer. To be honest with you, I want to leave that. I want to leave that alone.
If you are elected to the city council, what committee would you want to serve on?
Well, it would be the finance committee because I sure got a proposal for waste management.
And what is that proposal?
Is to eliminate waste management and take that money and utilize and get trucks so we can provide more jobs. I lived in New Rochelle, New York, most of part of my life. And if we have those trucks and not have another company come out and do in contract, we keep the money in the state, we have more jobs for the people, and we have our own property. Those trucks will be our own property and not waste management, because waste management is not doing anything for us.
Okay, so you don't want to contract out the trash services anymore. You think that
No.
should be done in-house?
In-house, yes.
And my last question for you, Iasha, can you tell me a specific, and maybe you just answered this, but maybe you have another one. Can you tell me a specific proposal or ordinance you would introduce if you were on the city council?
A specific proposal, I would just right now, I would ask the city to expand the rec centers and allow me to do some more programs for youth and adults to where the recs are open at a later time, to be able to do some trades. I would like access of the rec centers and ordinance to where that would be, we'll make an ordinance that those rec centers will be utilized for the children, the youth, and families. That's pivotal to me. I think that's a key thing with these rec centers, in helping these kids. So that's one of the things that I would propose. Also with the juvenile hearing, I would incorporate all that in with the school system and everything, because I think all that needs to be tied in together.
Iasha Hall, Democrat running for Providence City Council in the special election for Ward 15. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Steph, for having me, and you have a great day.
You too.